Okay, in the whole world of digital advertising, there's this constant balancing act, right? You want to reach the right people, but you also have to protect them. So today, we're going to zoom in on a really critical piece of that puzzle: Google's ad protections for minors. Let's dig into how these policies are actually trying to build a safer internet for kids and teens. You know, this quote from Google Ads, it's way more than just some corporate mission statement. It really gets to the heart of their entire approach. It's all about moving beyond just ticking the boxes on regulations and actually, proactively, building a responsible space online. It's basically a promise to everyone, users, parents, and advertisers, that safety is the top priority. But what's really pushing all of this forward? Let's take a second to unpack the why behind this big commitment to making the web safer for kids. It really comes down to three big things. First, and honestly the most important, is just the ethical responsibility to protect young people. Second, you've got the legal stuff. Laws like COPPA in the US and the AADC in the UK that set the ground rules. And finally, and this is a huge one, it's all about trust. I mean, if parents and users don't trust the platform, the whole advertising system starts to fall apart, right? So that's the why. But how does Google actually turn these ideas into real-world actions? Well, it all boils down to two core protections that act like a digital shield for anyone under 18. So here's the 1-2 punch that makes it all work. First, Google completely disables ad personalization for all users under 18. And second, it filters out ad categories that are considered sensitive. Let's start by digging into what ad personalization actually is and why turning it off is such a big deal. We've all seen ad personalization. You know, those ads that seem to follow you across the internet based on something you just searched for or a site you visited. By switching this off for minors, Google is creating a much more anonymous experience. The ads they see are more general, less targeted. It's a really powerful way to stop that kind of data-driven profiling that can feel especially invasive for younger users. But here's the thing. Google knows a 15-year-old is very different from a 5-year-old. And that's why their approach isn't just a simple on-off switch. It's actually more nuanced than you might think, with different rules for different age groups. And here's where you really see that nuance play out. Okay, so ad personalization, that's off for everyone under 18. But the content filters are way, way stricter for younger kids. For them, things like romantic or violent media are just off the table. Now for teens, the focus shifts to blocking content about things like alcohol, gambling, or body modification. It's a pretty smart tiered system that tries to adapt to a user's maturity level. And then we get to YouTube, where there's this extra protected zone, content specifically labeled Made for Kids. In here, the rules get even tighter. No personalized ads at all. No third-party trackers. Those are little bits of code that follow you around to collect data, and ads can't straight up tell kids to buy something. It's really designed to be a true digital sandbox, as safe as it can possibly be for the youngest viewers. Okay, so that's the whole story from the user's side. But I know what you're probably wondering. What in the world does all of this mean for advertisers? How does this actually impact your campaigns, your strategy, and your bottom line? And that brings us to our final section. Let's talk about the real-world impact on ad campaigns and exactly what you, as an advertiser, need to know. All right, let's just be direct about this. If your campaigns have historically targeted younger audiences, you're almost certainly going to see some changes. It could be in your reach, it could be in performance. It's really the natural result of these restrictions, and it's important to kind of set your expectations for that. Now, here is the silver lining. Google has designed all of this to be as seamless as possible for advertisers. So in most cases, you don't have to lift a finger. The system just automatically applies all the necessary filters and restrictions. This lets you focus on creating great campaigns without having to stress about compliance. So instead of looking at this as a limitation, it's probably better to see it as a sign of a healthy, responsible ecosystem. It's the price of admission for advertising on a platform that takes its duty to young users seriously. It's all part of a commitment to a better, safer internet for everyone. At the end of the day, creating a safer online world for kids isn't just Google's job. It's a shared responsibility. And as advertisers, you're right there on the front lines. Your choices really matter. By embracing these policies and just advertising responsibly, you're not just following the rules, you're actively helping to build a better, more trustworthy digital future. So to learn more and really become a partner in this, make sure you check out the Google Ads Help Center.